Hi, I'm Samantha, and I'm here at the Stitchin Post today, and we are going to make some tote bags from fat quarters. Specifically, today we are going to make 6 tote bags from this fat quarter panel. And it's, can't see me, this is Valori Wells fabric, and she hand carves and block prints these designs. And in order to make our tote bags, you're going to need 2 of these panels. Okay, and this is what the finished, you can see the tote bags here. That is, I think that's all 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the other one, 6. And I've lined them with just a solid color fabric. I chose green. Any solid color fabric will do. And you will need 3 yards of solid color fabric to make 6 totes. You can also make it with any 6 fat quarters. If you get 2 fat quarter 6 packs that are the same, then your tote can be the same on both sides. If you only want 3 totes, buy one and have the fabric different on both sides. That's cute too. Okay, so when you get your panel out, where did my panel go? Here we go. When you get your panel out, you're going to just cut it apart in each of the fat quarters. So cut down the lines and then trim off the extra white on the sides. Do not cut the selvage off, okay? Because we're going to use that and keep it in our seam. Okay, so I assume you guys can do that on your own. So let me show you how I trim it how I trim the lining to fit with our panel. So this is 18 inches of our lining fabric. It is the full width of the bolt. So you can see I've still got my selvage on here. And I'm just gonna line it up on my cutting mat. I'm gonna take my panel and I'm gonna position this selvage edge so that it lines right up with the bottom, okay? Because I don't want to have to sew an extra seam. I'm just going to leave that as the bottom of my bag. And so what I want is where the seam I'm going to sew to be lined up across the bottom of the bag. And then you can see here, I've got extra. So line up your ruler with the extra piece you want to cut off. Fold your panel back and just make a cut. All right, there we go. So now we've got all of our fabric pieces, okay? And now what we're gonna do is we need to put the handles in. So the first thing that we're gonna do is position the handles and sew them in. You can make your handles out of a variety of things. You can see in these tote bags, I've used a nylon webbing that's 1 inch wide. In this tote bag that's in progress, I've got a cotton webbing that's 1 inch wide. And in another tote bag we have down here, which you kind of can't see, I've got cotton webbing that's 1.5 inches wide. For this tote bag, just so you can see the difference, I just made straps out of fabric. This is just, you know, a 4-fold, like you're making a large bias tape or quilt binding, and I just sew it down the edge. And this is going to be our strap. So you could even use leather, you can use whatever you want. But we're gonna position them. So we're gonna place our panel on top, right sides together, and making sure that our selvage is down here at our fold, okay? Because we want that to be the bottom of the bag, okay? And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this in half and just press it with my finger. And then I'm going to open it and I'm going to fold it in quarters. Press it with my finger again. Do that on both sides. Okay. And I'm going to put my strap, I'm going to center it where those press marks are. And I'm going to just clip it down. These are the little wonder clips. I love these things. I am pin incompetent, so I use them for everything. Okay, so the only bit you got to pay attention to when you're doing this is you don't want to get a twist like that. you'll end up with a twist in your strap, right? We want to keep it so that it's like that and we don't have a twist in our strap. Okay, so I find my little mark here. I'm gonna put that right underneath there. Okay, and then I'm gonna fold that over. I'm gonna get just the top layer. Don't get both layers here. Just the top layer, and I'm gonna put a clip right in the center. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I don't twist my strap. I'll fold it around and center it right where that fold is. So you can see, it's kind of hard to see on the white, but that's the center of the strap. There's my fold mark. I'm going to fold that back, make sure it's lined up, and clip it. And get my finger in there. Okay. And there we go. All right. And I'm going to put in a couple more clips just to make this a little easier for me and keep it all lined up. Okay. And one on the end. Okay. And you would do that to both sides, of course. I'm not going to do both sides right now because you don't need to see that. Oh, and look at that. So now we're going to take this and we're going to sew it, and we're going to use a 5/8 inch seam. And we're using a 5/8 inch seam to make sure that we get enough of our handle inside the tote bag because we want it to be really secure. Okay, so I'm just gonna get that going and find my 5/8 mark. And here we go. And I'm gonna just sew 5/8 all the way across. When I get to my strap, I'm gonna just make sure it's flat right on the other side and hold it flat with my finger and just sew right over the top of it. And then I'm going to go back and then I'm going to keep going. Got a little bubble in there, but that's fine. I'll just smooth it out as I go. Okay, so I'm getting close up to this strap, and I don't know if Paige can get that camera in here. You can see this happens a lot. It'll pull a little bit so that it is at an angle, right? So just give that a little pull, straighten it out before you sew over it. And it's okay if it moves around a little bit. This is not, doesn't have to be precise by any means. Okay, so I've got that straight now, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to sew over it. I'm going to go back. Oh, what did I do? This is not my sewing machine. Okay. And here we go. And we're going to just sew right off the end. Okay, so after you've sewn the full seam the first time, I like to go back and sew just over the handles again. I want to be able to put whatever heavy groceries in here that I want without worrying about the handles popping off. So I'm going to just sew right here over the handle one more time. And I'm about maybe 1/4 inch away. Okay, and you would do that on both handles. You would then just go and press. I like to press the seam first, give it a quick press, and then I'm going to fold it over so I get a really nice crisp edge. Okay. And if you want to top stitch, you can. You don't have to. Totally up to you. Like on those bags, I didn't. So you can see there's no top stitching here. But on this bag, I did. Okay. So I'm not going to show you how to do that. If you were to top stitch, you're just going to stitch fold them in half, stitch along the top as close to the edge as you can get, and that's all you need to do. Okay, so once you've got both those sides done and both handles attached and top stitched or not, you're going to have this big old piece that looks something like this. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half so that your two lining fabrics line up and your two outside fabrics line up. Okay, and I'm just going to put some clips on it to help me sew and help make sure that I keep these two pieces flush together. Okay, so that's where I'm going to start with my pins, is right there. I'm going to look in here and make sure I'm lined up. Okay, and I'm going to go all the way around putting pins. Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, and I'd make sure everything was lined up all the way around. Again, make sure your two seams are going the same way. Okay, and just line them up right there. Doesn't really matter which way they go because they're, you know, when you turn it inside out, they're going to be going the same way, right? Okay, and just make sure that your handles are inside and not going to get caught in any seams. All right, and I've done that and sewn one, so let me show it to you. Here it is. Okay, so this one has blue lining, and you can see I started down here and I back tacked and I sewed all the way around, and right here I've left about a hand's width of an opening, right? And then I back tack at the opening, back tack, and go to the end. Okay, so, and I sewed right on the edge of where that selvage is. So you know, if anything, get a little bit above it because you don't want to see the white through the bottom of your bag. All right, and then all you need to do is trim your corners a little bit. So I'm going to just trim my corners. You can trim that extra selvage off too if you want. I'm not going to bother. Okay, I'm going to trim these a little bit. Okay, and then tip to make hand sewing this, where'd it go? There we go. A little bit easier later is I follow this seam line and press it. And give it a really good press, maybe put some flatter spray on it or some other light spray starch to keep a really good crease. And then you know when you're doing your hand sewing of your opening close exactly where to sew to keep it nice and even. All right, so now all we have to do is turn our bag inside out. Okay, so I'm going to reach in here. I'm going to poke that corner right back and pull it through. Okay. And there's my other lining corner. And now I'm going to go down and get these. And now you just got to wiggle these handles out, and these are the bigger handles. Okay. So then you just take your lining and stuff it inside your bag. Oops. Okay. And there you go. We've got a tote bag. So you can, for the opening that's left where you turned it, it's inside your bag, okay? So you can hand sew that shut like I talked about, or honestly, sometimes I'm lazy, and you can get some fabric glue and glue it. If you're not going to wash the bag a lot, it works just fine. If you're going to wash the bag a lot, though, take the time to hand sew it. But that is all there is to it, and you've got a super cute, easy to make tote bag. So if you like this video and you want to see more like it, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.